Welcome to RGBA, colorful tech news and reviews. This is episode 95. My name is Alexandre Valère-Lagacé, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tyler Ménard. A little bit of follow-up first. A couple of weeks ago, we participated in a podcast for friends of ours called Double Density. They were mentioned in the show in the past, and we often link back to their podcast. They have a special sauce, if you want. It's half tech and half paranormal, so it's very interesting. And we jumped in episode 62. They called us a name by saying our name thrice, just like the Candyman. So we just appeared, and we had a great time with them. So look in the show notes. There's a link to their podcast. So it's doubledensity.net/62. So enjoy it.
I didn't get that reference of the Candyman thing. I forgot to ask Angelo what it means.
Candyman was a horror movie where if you were saying the Candyman name thrice in front of a mirror, he would appear behind you and kill you.
Oh, great.
Yeah. so yeah, movies from the 80s. 80s? Early 90s? I'm not sure. Somewhere in that range. In the couple of years where I spent a lot of time at my video store lurking around the old movies horror section and rented like everything from the Leprechaun to like crazy, the whole suite of Halloween movies, the whole suite of Freddy movies, the whole suite of Jason movies. So like everything was rented by me like on that shelf. I think I must have rented maybe, I don't know, like 60 or 70 movies, all horror movies from the early 70s to the mid 90s. So that was cool. All right, so let's start with the news. It seems that the Apple Store is now 10 years old. So congrats to the Apple Store. Apple, of course, kind of made a little event of this. Nothing too immense, but just like a little summary of everything that happened all the way since July 10th, 2008, when it started with 500 apps. And then the newsroom article from Apple goes over every little details, like the launch of the iPhone and then the launch of the first games and who thinks what it was. And like there was even a quote from Marco Arment. So there's a couple of things there that are pretty interesting to look at, remnants from the past.
But what's crazy to me is like there's whole businesses that are worth billions that are based just off this app store. If you think like of Snapchat and Instagram, there's no there is now like a web component, but before it was solely on the iPhone.
Yeah, the whole industry started with the app store, and a lot of independent developers were able to make ends meet and make this a career for themselves. Others did that just for learning, for fun, for curiosity, and they eventually got hired by big companies. I'm pretty sure today there's a bunch of iOS developers who work at Facebook, Uber, and all those companies that were maybe just like 8 or 9 years ago, just dabbling with iOS development and eventually made a career of this. So the whole ramification of that little app store is quite incredible because, like you said, there's businesses, there's people, there's career choice, there's life choice, there's this thing influence people's life in a rarely seen manner. The link is in the show note if you want to go over and see. It's broken down into like 11 chapters, and now the last one, of course, finishes up with AR. So, and it's pretty impressive. Seriously, you should just take a little look at this. Just read the quotes. It's even fun to remember the old games, and there's a couple screenshots also from the early years. Something that's not too early, the very first MacBook Pro with Retina display, the very first generation of the new MacBook Pros with that nice display is now being classified as vintage by Apple. So this computer was released June 11, 2012 at WWDC, and now it's moved on to the vintage category. So vintage is when a computer or device has not been manufactured for 5 to 10 years, and then after 10 years is classic, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I find it. I always thought that the first Retina was the MacBook first Retina display was in 2014 for some reason. It's already been 6 years.
Yeah, I tested that 2012 version quickly, but I really spent more time with the 2013, 2014 versions. That's the bulk of my MacBook Pro Retina years for those first models. Pretty cool device. And they don't look that dated if you look at the screenshots.
I still use them today. This is my laptop at work.
Yeah, I know, but still, even like that's like been 6 years since this design was introduced, and it doesn't look dated at all. That's cool. And in another bit of news, Apple Music subscriber count in the US passed Spotify's US-based subscriber count. So that's interesting. They say that it's now 33 million. So yeah, Apple and Spotify have more than 20 million subscribers. We don't know the details exactly count because the source just says 20 million plus. So, but we know that Apple is slightly ahead. I don't think Spotify's US market is its biggest one. I think it's it's stronger in the US, in the state. Sorry.
It's all synonyms for the same thing.
So I think they're stronger in Europe and Asia. So I don't have the full number worldwide, but I'm pretty sure, even though that looks interesting because it's Apple surpassed Spotify, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's that impressive because worldwide Spotify is way ahead.
Yeah, I think Spotify is almost like double worldwide, no, than Apple Music.
Yeah, well, a couple months ago that was the case. I don't know if it still is, but I'm pretty sure it probably is way ahead for a long time until Apple catches up. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the TV plan and everything. So that could also influence the numbers big time. So, because I know Netflix in the US is, of course, their biggest country in terms of number of subscribers because it started there so many years ago before any other countries, and it took a long time for Netflix to roll out internationally. So if there's more TV people there, and let's say, I don't know, like maybe 1/5 of every Netflix subscriber subscribes also to Apple TV, and they get in that bundle the Apple Music, then all of a sudden your numbers are even bigger. So it's going to be interesting to see how this span over the next couple of months. But I'm very curious to see the impact of a TV music bundle with those numbers.
And when they talk about Spotify numbers, do they talk about paid subscribers or just overall people that use Spotify? Do you know?
Yeah, that's the thing, because Apple Music has no free tier, and I think it's paid subscribers because last time I checked, I think it was in the hundreds of millions for Spotify in terms of overall. Yeah, I have the number here. So Spotify has 70 million paying subscribers and 160 million overall users. So 90 million free and 70 million paid. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. All right, moving on to Rumors Corner. There's two bit of news, both of which I find very interesting. The first one is that Apple has registered new tablets and new Macs with the EEC, the Eurasian Economic Commission. So it's kind of like their FCC in Asia and Europe. So they need to register devices. They don't need to give like specific details. It's more like a barcode and a like model name kind of, and a date where this was registered. So there's a bunch of interesting little tidbits in there. So there's going to be 13-inch MacBook Pros, 15-inch MacBook Pros, 12-inch MacBooks, so all new Mac computers. This makes sense because Apple released last week the keyboard repair program, and that thing would be weird if the new computers that come up eventually also have a problem. So I'm thinking that Apple will make this nice, and there's new keyboards coming up very soon with new computers. So that's going to be very interesting. But the old iPad thing, so this would mean that the iPad could be refreshed more than every 2 years. So maybe the iPad Pros. So no, or maybe it's a new It's a new iPad. There's also one report that says it's going to be about 11 inches. So does that matches up with the iPad Pro design we had last week from that designer, which was just something he invented? But there's hopefully a couple of devices that are going to come out before September. So it's going to be interesting to see. And the last bit of rumors that we have is the iPhone 10 for next year, well, for this year, would actually come in two multiple colors. So last week we went over the rumors basket from Minchico, and there was one that said that there would be 3 iPhone 10, one iPhone 10 regular, like you have in your hands, one iPhone 10 in plus size, and one iPhone 10 with cheaper components. So no OLED screen, just a regular LCD, probably also other things missing, maybe smaller capacities. But we discussed that, and I was wondering, like, how would they sell a cheaper device that is kind of like the big iPhone 10, but has less great components? And I forgot totally one thing, and that's what this rumor points to is, well, the easy thing is to just put color on them. So imagine that cheaper iPhone 10 could be blue, red, orange. That would be a way to sell it, like they did with the iPhone 5C. So they took cheaper parts, made a cheaper iPhone, but they put color around it, and that sold like hotcakes. So,
but did they sell the iPhone 5C?
Yeah. No, they sold a lot. I never had numbers, but I've seen them everywhere.
I didn't see a lot. I find like I didn't see a lot, and they like disappeared all of a sudden. Well, they were what, iPhone 5s? They came out at the same time as iPhone 5.
Yeah. Well, did they come at the same time? No, I think they came out at the same time as the iPhone 5S, but they were the past year.
Right. And they discontinued the 5 right away.
Yeah. So you had 5C or 5S. Would you ever buy like a blue or orange iPhone 10?
No.
Never?
I don't think so, no.
They say gray, white, blue, red, and orange. This seems to be a lot of SKUs for a single device.
I might be tempted to take the blue, but since I don't use a case, I'd probably get tired of the blue.
Okay, yeah, true. Well, you can put a case on it if you want.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of people don't care about the color of their phone because they have cases on them. So like they use the case to change the color of their phone. I know a lot of people that like change the cases a lot just to match their mood or whatever. But I don't think people would get a phone. Well, would be tempted to, I'd pay. Oh, right, they'd pay less, so that works. They won't say I won't pay more for a certain color because I'm just going to slap a case on it. But if I say I can pay less and get a color, maybe they'll pick colors. Yeah,
that's what I think.
And also another rumor, I don't know if you see it in the show notes, the USB-C iPhone charger that was shown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Would you like a USB-C for charging your phone, or is it good, not good? I think we've talked about this before already, no?
Yeah. Well, there's always the angle of, is it dangerous for the battery life of your device? Like, will that faster charging shorten the battery life? People tend to say no nowadays, so I don't think it's really that bad. But I'm for me personally, I don't really need anything better because my main charging station is my dock on my nightstand, so it's overnight. So I don't care if it charges in 2 hours or 6 hours. It's going to charge anyways. And if I need more juice during the day, which I usually do because I'm on the beta right now, the iOS beta 3, I always plug it in during the day sometime at my desk, just for like maybe, I don't know, like an hour or something, just to give me like a little 30 or 40% more battery. And that helps me to finish my day. So, and when I'm out of the house, I bring my little material dock from Studio Neat with me. So it's okay. I just do the same thing as I do at home, at the hotel or whatever. So I don't really need anything faster. Yeah, no, I don't. Seriously, if I would get one, because I don't use the Apple Power Bricks or the iPad Bricks anymore. So I have my dock, like I said, which is plugged into the wall. And I have on my counter, my kitchen counter, I replaced the outlet with a outlet with two USB-C ports that give out 2.3 amps. So it's already iPad speeds. And iPad speed for my phone is a lot better and already super fast. So I don't need any faster charging like that. That would be a waste of money in my situation. If it comes with the new devices, fine. It's perfect. People who get new iPhone 10 this year will get that new plug. But if you want to buy it separately for like $40 or $50, for me personally, I don't really need that kind of thing.
And also, like, ideally, people are going to switch to the Qi charging, since the new phones are all going to come out with it.
Yeah, that makes more sense. It's less troubles. You just drop your phone on the plate and that's it. So
I don't know if we talked about it, but I really, really like it now.
yeah, you're starting to get into that Qi charging thing.
Yeah, I don't want to plug cables into my phone. Those days are over.
Yeah, my lightning ports start to be to mess around. It's kind of loose now, so it doesn't impact charging per se. But the only single time I had a problem with it is when I was transferring movies through iTunes to my phone, and I was copying, I don't know, like 5 or 6 gigs of movies, and then I just jerked the cable a bit, and that was enough to disconnect from the computer for a few milliseconds, and that broke my file transfer. So, but yeah, it's getting used a lot because every night when I'm in my bed, I put on my earbuds, and these little earbuds are with the one that came with the phone, so it's the one with the lightning connector. So it's getting old. So yeah, I think that eventually, if we all have Qi chargers and Qi charging compatible devices, those ports will be used less and less.
And also for audio, like, instead of your little earbuds, you're supposed to get AirPods, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
You're halfway on the wireless train.
I know. Well, I got like Trex and Bose, and so I'm there every time except when I'm in my bed, because it's just easier to have a pair of AirPods.
Wait, how come you don't use your big headphones why do you use the little things?
Because it's too big, too hot, and like I just want something small I can put in and remove.
That's what it makes. It's a noise.
Exactly. Not in your ears, no.
Yeah, the AirPods make that noise too, so you wouldn't be like too weirded out on a
cool,
change.
Cool. Yeah, I'm on the edge for these. So yeah. All right, so moving on to Apps Corner. We don't have a new app from a third-party developer as we usually do. It's not something we stumble upon for fun. It's something that Apple released through test flight. So we now have the shortcut apps. I hope you installed it.
Yes, it's installed.
Cool. So this is the first time Apple does this. You have to go on the developer's site and request to be part of the beta for shortcuts. So I'm happy to see that they finally embrace what they purchase when they purchased Testlight. So it's very great. The app takes a little while to be added to your list. So, but once you have it installed, it's a nice icon that is kind of like a mix between Siri and an S. So, but yeah, you install it. It basically reads all your little workflows from your workflow app. It doesn't replace the workflow app, and you get all your workflow that you had before. Nothing is lost, so they come as they were in the past. Same colors, same titles, same icon, everything. The UI is just slightly different. So, for example, right now, if you tap on a workflow, you usually get to the edit mode. But on the shortcut app, when you tap a workflow, it just runs it. If you want to edit it, there's a little 3-dot icon on the top right, which you have to hit to get to the edit mode. And instead of having the side panel, the left panel for all the actions, it's a swipe up panel. So you can swipe from the bottom. You have smart suggestions of what actions you could add, and or you can search for the ones you need. So, but all the features are there, I think. I haven't looked super deep, but all my workflows are working, and all of the little actions are highlighted properly, and they're still in the same order, which is very important. So, no, it's a good thing.
I have one that doesn't work. I have this workflow send something to Slack directly to you, like because a Slack share sheet is a bit cumbersome, and if you have multiple teams, you have to select a team and then scroll to find the person every time. So I have like the people I send the most links to, I have a not shortcut, a workflow just to send it directly to Alex. So that doesn't work because they don't connect with Slack yet. But I guess it's just Slack has to integrate with workflow with shortcuts. So just a question of time.
It's probably I have one that I'm trying right now. Let's see if it works live. So posting to Slack, it takes a while. But the one you have was broken, or
Yeah,
no, it works. Mine still works.
from shortcuts or from workflow?
From oh no, yeah, you're right. Did I? How?
You have to add it to your share sheet.
That's how you. Oh, jeez. Where's that little guy? Shortcuts done. Shortcuts and resize and Slack. Could not run post to Slack. This action is currently not available. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so you're right. Like with workflow, it still works, but with shortcuts, I get an error. So it's like you said, it's not integrated with those guys. That sucks big time. Yeah, and if you go into the workflow and in the shortcuts, and you look at the action, it says post to Slack, and it just says this action is not currently available.
Right.
So they probably focus first on all of the custom and internal actions, and all of the partnering will probably need to come at a later mid-date. Maybe they're gonna have a new process in place where people can opt in, kind of like they did last year. They changed their guidelines, if you want, and people had to opt in to certain guidelines, and some of them didn't do the jump at first, like Google, but eventually I think they all came aboard. So this is going to be probably the same thing. It's going to be a new partnership kind of like agreement they're going to sign, and that's going to allow Slack to come back.
Okay. Did you try using Siri to launch shortcuts, or what do we call this? Like run shortcuts? Run shortcuts?
Yeah, run shortcuts. And I tried when iOS 12 came up, and it had awful success rate. So not since then.
What do you mean?
When I asked it like where's my daughter or whatever, the where's or my daughter's name would not be understood at all, and it would, like, instead of say where's, it's gonna put where is, and that doesn't match the workflow name, so it doesn't run. And then my daughter's name, once I got the where's to work, my daughter's name was picked up like in 4 or 5 different ways, but never the right type. Well, the right the right way. So the shortcut would never run. So after 6 tries, I gave up and I just run it manually.
But give her a nickname.
Yeah, daughter 1, daughter 2.
She's the only one that has like a location available for now. So just when your second daughter gets an iPhone, you'll figure out how to name the second one.
Yeah, rename them with like letters like A or B.
Yeah, daughter A. Firstborn.
Yeah, but firstborn, yeah.
Track firstborn. That works.
Yeah, true. That should probably be understand more.
No, but you can program anything to run your shortcut. So you can just say, "Hey, where's my kid?" or something, and she's gonna run the shortcut.
Yeah, exactly. So the UI is still separate. So the Shortcuts app is just your workflows replacement with the gallery and stuff like that. But if you want to get the Siri shortcuts, that's really under Siri. You have to go, and then you have My Shortcuts and More Shortcuts. So
no, you can do it in Shortcuts.
Where?
Tap the little three dots there.
Yeah,
and then under the done, there's like this 2 toggle switches.
Oh yeah, true. Add to Siri. Oh, okay, nice.
And then you have this Siri phrase.
Okay, so you can add an existing shortcut as a Siri sentence, and okay.
Yeah. Oh, you were talking about the iOS 12 shortcuts things.
Yeah.
It's getting confusing.
Yeah, it is. Let's try this live. Where's my firstborn? You see, Siri only got firstborn. That's my main problem with Siri. If I wait for the chime, I say my sentence, half of it is getting picked up. If I don't wait for the chime and I do the same thing, also half of it is getting picked up. So that's why I hate this software.
Let me try just for fun.
Where's my firstborn?
Where's my firstborn?
Where's my firstborn? See, once again, my firstborn.
Okay, I get that. Where is my firstborn? It works.
See, Siri for me, it doesn't work.
Your Siri is like my my thumbs.
Yeah, it's retarded. It only catches half of what I say, and like you, it catches half of your thumb, so it doesn't work. So yeah, for people who actually have a working Siri, I think it's an interesting way to map your voice to something that is 100% custom. So you can do workflows like you used to do. There's a ton of actions. You can integrate with web APIs, so it's great. And you can do very quick custom Siri sentences. You don't need to like give it like a verb and a noun and everything. You can just like give it one word. And like, for example, if I were to do some time tracking, I could have a workflow that ends all my toggle timers, and I could just say end all, and that's it. It's going to end everything. But for me, it's going to only catch the second word, which will be all, and that won't work at all. So
stop being so
that's
negative.
My frustration. Yeah. Well,
I know.
When I had your HomePod, Siri understood me correctly, but did not provide the information I needed. So the songs were never right, and the information I tried to get was often right, or I got the I cannot answer that question kind of thing, or use your iPhone or whatever. But she understood my full request. But on my phone and on my watch, no matter if I wait for the chime and or not, or if I wait for the chime and wait maybe 1 or 2 more seconds and then talk, I never have my full sentence. At first, I thought it was a lint problem in my microphone for my phone, but I cleaned it up and it's not better. And so yeah, I don't know what the problem is with my phone. It's kind of like, I don't know if it triggers the microphone with a delay or something. If it's a physical problem, I should probably get it checked just to be sure. But no matter how many times I did a full format of my phone and reinstall iOS, I did that for iOS 10 and 11, and I'm going to do it in September for iOS 12. Reinstall everything by hand the hard way. So this way I go from like 7 pages of apps down to like 2 pages of apps, and makes a nice cleanup. But I'm sure I'm going to get the same problem. Siri never understands me correctly. Either I miss part of the words, or she understands words that I didn't think I meant or I pronounced. So yeah, for me, Siri is not my friend.
Did you see Viticci had this whole shortcut that he set up to Viticci is Federico Viticci from Mac Stories, to like set it's called like sexy time or something, and it sets the music in his bedroom, the lighting and everything. He played with HomeKit and Siri. It was pretty cool.
No, I haven't seen this one. Yeah, he's pretty hardcore automator kind of guy, and I know he bought light switches a couple months ago and smart plugs, and now he has 3 HomePods. So yeah, I don't have any worries that he's gonna play with that kind of thing and study nicely. All right, that's it for episode 95 of the RGBA podcast. You can find the show notes at rgba.fm/95. You can find us on Twitter at _RGBAfm, and you can find us on Twitter personally. I'm Vallier, Vallier, yes.
And I'm Tyler Menard, Tylermenard.
Have a nice week.
Have a nice week.